He was running a criminal empire that eventually led to his downfall. The truth about what brought him down is darker than anyone expected, and we're about to break it all down. King's legal drama is unfolding. Yo, what's good, fam? Today we're diving into some real street drama that's been shaking up the hip-hop world. We're talking about King, Harris T.I.'s son, and how this young dude went from living in luxury to catching cases and even beefing with his own mom. But this isn't just some spoiled rich kid story. This goes way deeper into the culture, the struggle, and what happens when keeping it real goes completely wrong. Before we get into this wild story, let's keep it real. The streets have been talking and social media has been buzzing with all kinds of rumors. King facing years in jail, getting jumped behind bars, all that crazy stuff. But we're here to clear it up, separating facts from fiction, the real from the fake. Because honestly, his story is already dramatic enough without all the extra lies.
I'm kind, energetic, nice dude, man.
My name King, you know it, and your mama know it. On game what? On game what? Come here.
So check this out. October 14th, 2024. That's the day everything changed for King Harris. He was driving through Dunwoody, Georgia, probably feeling like he was just living his best life when boom, he almost clipped a police cruiser pulling out of a gas station. The cop pulled him over for failing to yield, noticed the smell of weed, and saw a gun on King's hip. Now hold up before you think this was some targeted harassment. It wasn't like that. King was calm and cooperative from the start. No drama, no fighting back, he just got caught slipping. But here's where it gets real. When the officer ran his info, they found King had an active bench warrant out of Pickens County. That warrant went all the way back to August 2022 for speeding, driving on a suspended license, and driving under the influence. Basically, King had been skipping court for 2 years, thinking it would all just blow over. But that's not how the game works. The police report says they smelled marijuana, found 2 small baggies in the car, and noticed the gun on his left hip. In situations like this, things can go bad real quick, but King kept it cool. The cop took the gun without any issues, cuffed him up, and that was that. No tough guy act, no making it worse. But here's the bigger picture. This wasn't just another rich kid catching a charge. King has been trying to prove he's not some spoiled brat living off T.I.'s name. He's been repping the streets, saying he stands on business, trying to show he's really about that life. He even claims he spent time living with his grandmother in a rough Atlanta neighborhood to prove he's more than just luxury living. And then it gets messy. While King was sitting in DeKalb County Jail waiting to be transferred to Pickens, his mom, Tiny Harris, went live on social media and straight up called him out. Said, King ain't got good sense and ain't got all his marbles. Man, imagine your own mom going live telling the world, you don't have good sense while you're locked up. That's cold. That felt like justice right there. But Tiny wasn't finished. She kept talking. She defended her son, but also kept it real about his choices. She said something that really stood out. King don't mess with nobody unless they mess with him first. You gotta come at him for him to even react. That's that protective mom energy, but at the same time, her way of admitting he's been making some questionable moves now. Here's the kicker. King was released shortly after the bench warrant got recalled, and he even posted a video saying, I'm a free man, I'm not locked up. So after all that drama and stress, he walked free the next day, but the damage was already done. The streets were talking, the blogs were posting, and King's reputation took another hit. This is where we gotta address the elephant in the room. The internet went crazy, rumors of King getting sentenced to 5 years, getting jumped. In jail, even T.I. begging judges for mercy. But real talk, those claims were just clickbait. No credible source ever confirmed any of it. The truth is simple. King walked free. End of story. Still, the whole situation exposed the pressure King's been under. He's stuck between 2 worlds, the privileged life his parents gave him and the street credibility he feels like he has to earn. Critics call him a wannabe gangster, saying he's faking stories for clout. That's gotta sting, especially when he's trying to build his own name in rap. The arrest also put a spotlight on King's family dynamic. T.I. has spoken on his son's behavior, even pointing out the similarities to his own past. He warned, if he keeps that up, he's going to prison. Heavy words from a father who's been through the system himself and knows exactly how that road ends. But T.I.'s approach has layers. He's trying to be a supportive dad while still holding his son accountable. On top of that, he's managing public perception while dealing with his own battles. T.I. has often spoken about his frustrations watching King repeat some of the same mistakes he made at that age. The difference is when T.I. was young and reckless, he didn't have millions of followers watching and documenting his every move. His warning about prison wasn't just tough love, it was insight from someone who's seen how fast things can spiral in the streets and in the system. He knows King's privilege only protects him so far. Keep pushing boundaries, keep catching cases, and eventually, not even family connections or good lawyers can save you. The timing of this arrest couldn't have been worse. King was trying to build himself up as a serious artist while also preparing to become a father. He and his partner, Jania Nana Epps, were expecting their first child around that time. That should have been a season of growth and responsibility, but instead, legal trouble stole the spotlight and risked overshadowing everything. This is a pattern we see a lot in hip-hop young men trying to juggle street credibility with family responsibilities and often making choices that put both in danger. King's arrest turned what could have been a redemption story into why. Another cautionary tale about bad decisions. But this isn't just about charges and court dates. It's about how a kid born into Atlanta royalty ended up trying so hard to prove he belongs in the streets. So let's break it down, the psychology. The pressure and the pain of being born into hip-hop royalty while still searching for your own identity. King Harris' full name, Clifford King. Joseph Harris III was born on August 25, 2004, into a life already mapped out for him. The son of T.I. and Tiny, he was introduced to fame early, even appearing on VH1's T.I. and Tiny, The Family Hustle from 2011 to 2017. Picture this. While most kids his age were worrying about school or video games, King had cameras in his face, millions of people watching him grow up. That kind of pressure can mess with your head when you're still trying to figure out who you are. And here's the wild part. Despite all the money and privilege, King has always claimed he spent time in the trenches he's talked about. Living with his grandmother in tough Atlanta neighborhoods, trying to experience what he calls real life beyond the mansions and fame. Some people see that as fake, but think about it. Maybe this was his way of connecting with his roots of trying to understand where his dad came from before the Grammys and Hollywood lifestyle.
And in fact, like a lot of people, I feel like you gotta start putting out the business. Like, not that, I feel like you so chill, you don't care about putting out the business.
King's music dream started early, influenced by his dad's legacy. He began rapping young and even took on the stage name Keaton, inspired by Dragon Ball. That's some real anime meets trap culture right there. He dropped songs, built up a following on social media, and tried to carve out his own lane in a game where people already judged him, expecting him to either win big or flop just because of his last name. But let's switch gears to the love story that changed everything for this young King. Entered Jania Nana Epps, a young woman from Atlanta who captured his heart and gave him something real to fight for. Their relationship went public in mid-2024 when rumors started that she was pregnant. This wasn't no fake industry relationship for clout. This was real love, real commitment, and real responsibility stepping into his life. By August 2024, T.I. confirmed on Atlanta's Hot 107.9 radio that King was expecting a son. Imagine that your pop's going live on air announcing to the whole city that he's about to be a grandfather. For King, that had to feel surreal. But that's life when you're hip-hop royalty. Your personal business always ends up public. The couple celebrated with a baby shower in October 2024, and by November, little King Jr. was born. A huge moment, but then things got even more interesting. In January 2025, King went viral on Instagram Live after revealing a very unconventional relationship dynamic. He claimed that Epps allows him to date and sleep with other women as long as it's not emotional or public. Basically, King said he can cheat in peace without drama as long as he keeps it on the low and doesn't catch feelings. That revelation sparked all kinds of debates online. Some people saw it as mature understanding between adults, while others called it pure disrespect. But truth is, every relationship is different, and if both of them are cool with it, who are we to judge? But of course, King's life hasn't been all love and music. But it hasn't been all love and baby showers. King has found himself in some serious beefs that really showed his hot-headed side. One of the biggest family dramas went down on November 26, 2023, at an Atlanta Falcons game. King went live on Instagram and got into a heated back and forth with T.I. and Tiny about whether he grew up with a silver spoon. Then in February 2024, he clashed with comedian Drusky after Drusky joked about King's catchphrase, "Stand on business." Instead of brushing it off, King went on Instagram Live, called Drusky fat, and even threatened him, saying, "You fat, out-of-shape BH, I'll beat the F out of you." That was way out of pocket body shaming and making threats over a joke. At the end of B, The day Drusky is a comedian. Making fun of public figures and viral phrases is literally his job. But King took it personally and responded with insults instead of humor that showed insecurity and immaturity, especially for someone trying to build a public career. The body shaming was ugly because it proved King was willing to attack someone's appearance when he felt disrespected. That's not standing on business, that's just being cruel. Real strength would have been ignoring the joke or firing back with something funnier. Instead, he let emotions take over. The beef eventually died down, which probably means someone in his circle or maybe his parents stepped in and told him to chill. Either way, it showed that when King gets heated, he doesn't always think about the consequences until after the damage is done. And then there's the infamous Waffle House incident from May 2022. King got into a heated argument with employees after a mix-up led to him being refused service. Now we've all been to Waffle House late at night, tired and hungry, but King took it to the extreme, recording himself going off on the staff and posting it online.
They violated.
What do you got against Waffle House?
See, when they made my sandwich, as you can hear in the video, no pickles. And it wasn't the pickles.
Pickles
Believe it or not, the whole Waffle House situation was about pickles. King ordered a sandwich with no pickles, but they put them on anyway. Then it looked like somebody poured water on it and even massaged it. When King opened the sandwich, he was disgusted and went off about it. He claimed the pickle wasn't even inside the sandwich, it was just sitting on top, and the bread looked soggy like it had been messed with. Moments like this, along with his other incidents, paint a picture of a young man struggling with his identity. On one hand, King has it all: money, fame, connections, and opportunities most people could only dream about. On the other hand, he feels like he has to prove himself. He doesn't want to be seen as soft, so he tries to earn respect in the streets even though he grew up in privilege. This kind of inner conflict is actually common among kids of celebrities and wealthy families. There's even a term for it: affluenza. Not the legal defense, but the idea that people from privileged backgrounds struggle with identity, purpose, and authenticity because they've never truly had to fight for survival. They feel guilty about their advantages, but don't want to give them up either. King, that shows up in him trying to create struggle where it doesn't naturally exist, searching for moments to prove his toughness, his realness, his connection to the streets. But since he's starting from privilege, those attempts often come across as forced or fake to people who've actually lived through hardship. His relationship with his parents has been complicated through all of this. T.I. has spoken openly about raising his kids with discipline, drawing from his own struggles with poverty, the streets, and the law. But King has pushed back. He wants to make his own mistakes and learn his own lessons, even if it means disappointing his family and embarrassing them in public. That's the generational conflict in hip-hop families. The culture itself values street credibility and authenticity. T earned his respect the hard way through real struggles, court cases, and life-threatening situations. But how do you pass down that kind of authenticity to a child who's never truly faced want or danger? By March 2025, though, things started looking up. King reflected on the feud with his family and admitted they were beginning to see. He and his dad eventually saw eye to eye, with some even comparing their bond to Ghost and Tariq from Power. That's real growth, being able to step back, reflect, and start rebuilding family ties. Now let's look at how the culture reacted to all this King Harris drama. And trust me, the response has been all over the place. Some people showed support, while others were straight up savage. This is where you really see how social media can lift someone up or tear them down, and how the hip-hop community handles one of their own when they stumble. It also raises big questions about what this all means for King's future in the game. The career impact and hip-hop's response. The internet never misses when it comes to opinions, and King Harris's legal troubles gave everybody something to talk about. On Twitter, reactions were a mix of jokes and reality checks. A lot of users clowned him for trying too hard to act tough despite growing up wealthy. One person wrote, "Kid wanna be a street, you so bad, bro was born to a millionaire father and still wants to be a felon so bad, that's cold." But a lot of people agreed, pointing out the irony of someone with every advantage chasing trouble. The memes were ruthless too. People posted side-by-sides calling him Garlic Knot and flooding timelines with captions like, "The Garlic. Knot strikes again," usually with gifs of T.I. looking frustrated. But it wasn't all jokes. Some fans showed real concern, saying things like, "This boy has been screaming for help for years and nobody around him cares enough." And with King expecting a baby, that concern feels even heavier. It's no longer just about antics, It's about a young man trying to balance identity, responsibility, and fatherhood all at once. Reddit kept that same energy, but took it deeper. Many threads called him the ultimate Nepo baby, someone born with every opportunity, but still choosing the street life. Users said his whole image felt fake, like suburban privilege, pretending to struggle hip-hop forums. Same story. They weren't buying the tough key persona at all. To them, King wasn't just wilding, he was throwing away his future before it even began. The response from the hip-hop community has been complicated. Most big-name artists stayed quiet, likely not wanting to get caught up in family drama or kick King while he was down, but their silence also says something if King had more respect. In the culture, people probably would have stepped in to defend him or at least guide him. Now let's look at how all this drama has affected King's music career. At just 21, he's still building his brand as Kid Scion, trying to prove himself. As an independent artist, his 2025 EP Be Ready pulled from trap influences and personal storytelling, but his legal problems could hold him back. Touring collaborations and label deals all come with risks. If an artist has open cases, probation rules, or travel limits. From a business angle, labels and promoters might see King as a liability. On top of that, the public perception of him as a Nepo baby, riding his dad's fame, has led some to call him inauthentic, which could turn off both fans and industry gatekeeper. But King does have advantages. His family name gives him a safety net with T.I. actively promoting his music. Having a Grammy-winning father with influence in the industry is something most new artists could only dream of, and sometimes controversy can actually boost an artist's profile if handled the right way. The arrest, though, reinforced old narratives about King. The body cam footage released in August 2025 confirmed what happened but didn't bring new charges over the marijuana or gun found. Still, it left many fans disappointed, especially those hoping he would finally grow up and make better choices. His whole stand-on-business image has been both a blessing and a curse. It draws in young fans who like that energy, but it also opens him up to criticism when his actions don't match his words. That gap between his privileged background and his attempts at street credibility creates doubt for a lot of people watching. And when your brand is built around being real and tough, constant run-ins with the law, family fights, and social media beefs don't make you look authentic, they make you look reckless. That can hurt streaming numbers, social media engagement, and even sponsorships, since brands and platforms often avoid artists who seem unstable or controversial. Controversy usually hurts artists, but in King's case, becoming a father might actually save his career. The birth of his son in November 2024 seemed to change his mindset and even I showed public support for this new chapter. Fans love redemption stories, seeing young artists step up, take responsibility, and grow. If King can turn his struggles into better music and real growth, this could be the start of his origin story, not his downfall. But King's situation also raises bigger questions about hip-hop. His case reflects a trend where fame and legal troubles often collide. On a larger scale, it might not shake the industry since he's still an upcoming artist, but it does highlight important conversations about second-generation rappers and the pressure they face. We're seeing more kids of rap legends step into the spotlight. Lil Wayne's son, Master P's kids, and now King Harris. But being a Nepo baby comes with its own challenges. King's struggles shine a light on the skepticism that privileged rappers face. Fans want authenticity, and that could push labels to start valuing real stories over celebrity connections when signing artists. Another big part of King's story is the spread of misinformation. Gossip blogs and YouTube channels ran with wild rumors about him facing 5 years in prison or getting jumped in jail, none of which were true. Still, thousands believed and shared it. That shows how damaging clickbait can be, shaping public opinion without facts. And then there's the family side. T.I.'s tough love, paired with his continued support, speaks to the challenges hip-hop fathers face. Raising kids in the spotlight. It's not easy being a rap legend while trying to guide your son away from the same dangers you once survived. In the long run, this whole saga might actually help King if he plays it smart. Pop loves a comeback story. Fans want to see young artists stumble, learn, and rise again. If King can make that shift, his story might turn from controversy to growth, learning from mistakes, and growing into a better person is what really matters. By early 2025, King and T.I. managed to reconcile, with both of them taking responsibility for their past conflicts. That shows real maturity. the kind of growth that can lead to stronger music and deeper connections with fans. Social media's reaction shows how invested people are in King's journey. Some criticism came from a place of wanting him to do better, to use his advantages in a positive way, instead of throwing them away, chasing street credibility. Others, though, seem to enjoy watching a privileged kid mess up, almost taking pleasure in seeing him fail despite having every opportunity. But here's the bigger picture. King Harris represents more than just his own legal issues. His story reflects the ongoing struggle between privilege and authenticity. In hip-hop, it highlights the pressure second-generation artists face to prove themselves, and it shows how social media can twist narratives, either building someone up or tearing them down. The silence from established artists also speaks volumes. When the culture chooses not to step in when fans roast instead of uplift, and when blogs spread lies for clicks instead of facts for clarity, it exposes some harsh truths about how we treat young artists trying to figure out who they are. Still, King has time to flip the script. At just 21, with a new son and mended family ties, he could turn all of this into growth, maturity, and real artistry. He could become an example of redemption instead of another cautionary tale about privilege and bad decisions. The real question is what King will do next. Will he keep chasing street credibility through risky choices? Or will he channel his struggles into authentic music that speaks to people who relate to his journey? Will he use his platform to address the pressure young men in hip-hop face? Or will he repeat the same cycles that drag so many down? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the culture will be watching, reacting, and judging every move. That's the cost of growing up in the spotlight, especially when your last name comes with the weight and expectations of being hip-hop royalty. So what do you think about King Harris and his future? Drop your thoughts in the comments and click on the cards on screen for more stories like this.